This conference will now be recorded.
Informatica, it is a data warehousing ETL tool. What is an ETL first of all? So ETL means E stands for extraction, T stands for transformation, and L stands for loading. Okay, so why data warehousing came into picture? So in regular databases or the file systems, like as there is a huge increase in the data day by day, so we are unable to manage the data, or and also we are unable to maintain the history of a particular data as it has been growing day by day. So data warehousing came into picture. With help of this particular data warehousing, we can do analysis of any particular data from 10 years back or 20 years back or 30 years back also, with current trend, whatever it is loading in the current system. Okay, so what is the data warehousing first of all? Okay, it is a data model. It is a data model which is used to extract the data quickly, okay, or easily, I can say. Okay, so it has two systems, like OLTP system and OLAP system. What is OLTP system? OLTP system is nothing but online transactional processing system. Okay, okay, online transactional processing system. And OLAP is nothing but online analytical processing system. Online analytical processing system. What is OLTP? OLTP is nothing but it helps in storing the current data, current transactional data. That means it doesn't store history. Doesn't have history, I can say. It doesn't have history. Just load today and it is done. OLAP system is nothing but it helps in storing the history data. Okay, so this is basically used for reporting purposes, analysis purposes in data warehousing. This is only current data, like day by day data. So once the day by day data is been loading every day, and finally we will create an OLAP system for analyzing this particular data. Okay, so this is exactly what about the data warehousing. So when we come with respect to Informatica, right? So we have tables. We will be loading the data in Oracle tables in the target system, where the tables will be called as dimensions and facts. Okay, so dimensions and facts. So what are dimensions and what are facts? Tables is referred as dimensions and facts. So what are dimensions and what are facts? Uh, table which contains entity related data. Okay, tables which contain entity related data uh, and metadata and their metadata, sorry, and their metadata is called as dimension. Okay, whereas facts are nothing but tables which contains only measures and numerical values. Numerical values is called fact table. So what exactly dimension and fact? So suppose, say, if you take a shopping mall as an example for the project. So we may have product dimension. Okay, we may have um, like sales dimension, and we may have customer dimension. Okay, we may have date dimension, like what date the customer has been purchased, etc. This all comes under dimension. So what is facts? Fact is nothing but the measures of this particular dimensions are called facts. That means product ID, which are used for reporting purposes, I can say, which are used as reporting purpose. So this will be a product ID, okay, customer ID, okay, sales ID, something like that. Okay, and also values like count of sales, total number of sales, something like that. Okay, number of products sold. Okay, all this comes under factor dimension. Numerical values will represent the factor dimensions. Okay, so tables are referred in data warehousing in this particular way. Now, what are Informatica components basically? So Informatica has Palem, I think you should mute yourself. I'm getting confused.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, Informatica has client and server components. So basically, as a developer, we will be working in the client components only. Okay, so server components are nothing but one is we'll discuss client components. Client components are as follows: like Informatica repository manager, okay, mapping designer, okay, workflow manager, okay, workflow manager and workflow monitor. These are the client components. So repository manager, what does all these things will do? So first of all, whenever we talk with data warehousing, Informatica and all these things, so major implementations that we look out for is slowly changing dimension implementations. Means, what is the slowly changing dimension? Slowly changing dimension is nothing but we are basically implementing data warehousing for maintaining the history and for reporting purpose, right? So how are we maintaining the history? Okay, how are we maintaining the history is major target for data warehousing projects. So we have SCD1 and we have SCD2 also. Okay, so SCD1 is a major concept where it will store only current data and immediate previous data. Okay, SCD type 2 is nothing but it is used to, or it is used to store current data and also history data. Okay, it will store current data and immediate previous data. SCD2 is nothing but it is used to store the current data as well as history data. So basically SCD type 2 is used for reporting purpose, whereas SCD1 is for transactional processing system. Okay, so I will tell you how are we going to implement these two things. Before that, we'll go with the client components, like how Informatica will look like, and how are we going to create a mapping, something like that. So this is an Informatica tool, Informatica 10.1.1. So this is my repository manager. Okay. So before that opens, what I'm trying to do here in this particular session, okay, got open. So I will be using one of the environments. So here you can see it is dev, production, stage, something like this. These are nothing but different environments, where in which we will be working in one environment. Every developer will be creating the mappings in one environment. So we will be working here in this space, right? So what I will do is I will try to load the data from one of the table called EMP into target table called emp underscore tgt, where in which I have emp number, ename, salary, department number, okay, mm, department number, commission, okay, location, something like this. Okay, so I have altogether 14 records or 15 records. Let me check. Okay, so select star from emp. I will see how many records we have. Mm, Let me 1 second, guys. I need to look for the password. I think I have changed. So basically, I'm creating a mapping over here, and I'm from source. I'll be loading the data into the target. Oh, please bear with me regarding the password. Uh, okay, so I'll show you the database information. Before that, as I told you, repository manager. These are all the client components, right? So what is a repository manager? So it is one of the client component. It is used to create folders and give permissions and also used for migrating the data from one environment to another, means from dev to stage, okay, from dev to stage and stage to production, something like that. It is used to migrate the data, also migrate the ETLs also. Okay, so that is the main purpose of repository manager. And now if you see, I have altogether a few records in EMP table. Okay, this we will be treating as a source system. Okay, this database will be treating as a source system, and I will be loading all this data from source system to target system. See here, altogether 15 records: EMP number, ename, job, manager, hire date, all these columns I have, right? So we have 15 records. So data here in this 7,000, ename, okay, ename as Sam, and job as clerk, like this. Okay, so this I will be treating as a source data. So what are the columns I have? Copy, Okay, so how I'll be creating the folder? So here, go to folder option. Okay, click on create. So I'm doing a practical also now. Click on create and give a name here. So what I can do is May, not May. I'll be give as June 2022. Okay, and click on OK. Simple. Click on OK, and a folder will be get created here. And you can see the folder has been successfully created. And you can check where is the folder created in this particular folders, and it is here, June 2022. Okay, and this folder will be reflected in all the client components: designer, workflow manager, monitor. So see here, R stands for repository manager, D stands for designer, W stands for workflow manager, M stands for monitor. So click on D and the designer will get open automatically from here. Okay, now mapping designer. What is mapping designer? Mapping designer is nothing but it is used to create mappings by applying business rules and logics. It is used to create mapping by applying business rules and logics, okay, using multiple transformations. Okay, so this is called as a mapping. That means source to target mapping. That means from which column source table should map to which column in the target table. For that, what I am doing, EMP table I am using as a source here, and EMP underscore TGT I'm using as a target here, right? Yeah, I will be using EMP underscore TGT as a target here. So basically, I already have data in the source system. Okay, select star from EMP. Now I wanted to load from this particular table, EMP underscore TGT. I wanted to load, but basically I don't have this table itself. First of all, we need to create this table. In the source, the tables will be available, but target, if you wanted to maintain the system, right? If you wanted to load the data, right? Then you should create the table by yourself, similar to this EMP table. So how can we create a table to create the same structure without data? So it will be create table EMP underscore create table EMP underscore TGT as select star from EMP, where 1 is equals to 2. This is creating a stable structure without data. What you guys create table name, you can give whatever the table name you want as select star from EMP. Similar to which table you wanted to create, similar to EMP table, where 1 is equals to 2 means it will just create table structure without any data. So just click on execute the statement and check if it has been created or not. Now select star from EMP underscore TGT, right? Now see, so I have a table but I don't have any data inside. Can you see? It is just showing the columns. I don't have any data here. How to get the data? You should do a mapping between source table EMP and target table EMP TGT, and we should tell EMP number column should link to source, EMP number column should link to target EMP column, ename should link to ename, something like that, right? So here, how are we going to create the mapping? So to create a mapping, first of all, we need to go to our particular folder. What is our folder name? It is June 2022, right? Open this folder. Okay, I click on open, and you can see work areas named as source analyzer, targeted designer, transformation developer, mapping designer, and mapping Mapletter designer and mapping designer. So forget about all these things. Today we'll be working on source analyzer, targeted designer, and mapping designer. Why? Because I wanted to pull my source here, source analyzer, and I want to pull my target here in target designer. Then mapping, I wanted to do mapping here in the mapping designer. Right? So how to create or how to import the table. So basically, if you are able to connect to Oracle database, then go to sources, import from database. You have an option here, import from database. So click on import from database and select whatever the database that you wanted to connect, right? So is it Oracle or Excel or Visual Data Studio, whatever it is, you can connect here, give the username as Scott, and password as Tiger. I'll be providing the information to you guys, installation and everything. So you can connect here, as this is an office laptop. I'm not connecting to any of these things. So click on connect. It will show all the tables present here. You can click the table and click on OK. It will import. But now what I'm doing is I'm doing an alternative way. I'm trying to create the table manually. How to create a source table manually here? Okay, go to sources, click on create. Okay, and select what type of table it is. It is a database table. Okay, it is a database table. It's an Oracle database table. So I'll select Oracle. Here I can say Oracle and give the table name as EMP. Click on create. Click on create. Click on done. Right. So now I need to create a columns, right? I need to create a column. I'm doing it manually. That's why I need to do everything manually. If I can import directly from the database, right, then it will import with column names. Okay. So how to add a columns? Double click the source, go to columns, and here click on add button, add new column. How many columns you want, you can add that many columns here. Okay, something like this. All right, and give the names. What is the column name? We have EMP number, so give EMP number. And what is the data type? We have EMP number as number data type, right? So give number data type, and precision and length. Okay, 10 is fine for us. Next column is ename. Okay, ename, give the column name as ename, and so number PS. Okay, so ename is not number, it should be varchar2, something like this, right? Ename, it will be strings, right? So job, give job. Okay, it should be also varchar2. And manager, mgr. Okay, manager, it will be a manager code, so it will be number. Higher date will be data type, data type. So hope everyone knows the data types and the column, rows and columns structure, and data types and everything. I'm expecting like you have some basic SQL knowledge before you start this particular training. If you don't have, please let me know. And after hire date, it will be salary, commission, and department. It will be salary, and it is a commission, and it is department. DPT number. Okay, like this we need to we can create a source manually. Okay, so salary will be number, commission will be also number, department number is also number, right? This is my source table structure now, right? I have my see now how the columns are visible here. Okay, so in Informatica we won't get any data, we will be getting only structures. Informatica will be getting only structures. So we will be data will be present only in a database level itself. Data won't be available in Informatica. Only we will play with the metadata. Only we will play with the sources, targets, and links. We will map and we'll try and we'll change the column names, length, everything. We'll see one by one in the coming classes. But we'll see now what exactly is the source and what exactly target here. So now I need to even create a target or not. Okay, from the source I wanted to load to target, right? So click on target designer, and so now I can easily create a target based upon this source. Why? Because I can just drag and drop any table in the target designer, so it will automatically come here in the targets and it will create a structure. I have dragged here and automatically one target table came here. This is simple. Once you have source, then creating target is simple, as it is a same structure. It is same structure, but is it same name? No, right? So we can change the name by clicking on this table name. Click on rename, okay, and give the name whatever you want, like this. Click on OK. Click on apply. Click on, like this. Now I have a source and I have a target. We have a source data, but we don't have a target data in the database, right? My major goal is to load the data from source EMP. Okay, all these 14 records I wanted to load in the 15 records I want to load in the EMP underscore target, which is actually an empty data here. Okay, if you see here, it is empty. EMP underscore target is empty. I want to load through Informatica, right? For that, I am creating a mapping here. Go to mapping designer, drag the source EMP. Okay, before that, I wanted to create a mapping. Go to mappings, click on create. Okay, give any mapping name, m underscore first mapping, maybe you can give any name, but in real time they will be giving you the names, whatever the name you wanted to give there. Okay, drag EMP source into the mapping designer. Automatically it will come the source with the target, source with the source qualifier. So whenever you pull the source, it will come source and a source qualifier. We'll discuss about this in the future sessions, but as of now treat both as a single source. Okay, so it will come with links. So these are the links. It will automatically map with this column to this column accurately. Okay, now map the columns, source columns to target, and bring this target table to mapping designer to do a mapping like this. Okay, so what can I do is, now I can link this particular source columns to target columns, EMP number to EMP number. Just point here, okay, with your mouse and drag and drop to this column like this. We need to do the mapping like this. Point here and map here, point here and map here. This is one of the option, but if you have hundreds of columns, it will take lots of time, right? So what can you do is, right click, we have an option auto link by name, right? Click auto link by name, drag and drop here. Simple. So this is my mapping. I'm telling data from this particular column name should load into this particular column in the target table like this. So go to repository and save. This is how I save my mapping once I create it. Otherwise I will lose the changes, whatever I created. Okay, so it will show here whatever we have created, and it will show whether this mapping is valid or not, or we have any errors in creating this mapping. All right, so this is all about mapping the source and target. So now what is the other client component? Workflow manager. Workflow manager is nothing but it is used to create a session to configure source and target tables. Okay, and also it is used to Also, it is used to create workflow. It is used to create a workflow to trigger the session or a job, whatever I can say. Okay, like this. So how are we going to create a session to configure this? So configuration is nothing but where exactly my source table is present, in which database, in which location. Okay, we need to give the information. Informatica doesn't know, right? We need to tell explicitly this is present here. Please pull the data from that source. And also into the target table, where exactly the target table is present. We should explicitly tell to Informatica in this particular location emp_tgt table is present. So load the data in that particular location like that. Workflow is nothing but triggering a job. Once we create this one, we will run this session and it will fetch all the data from source and it will load into the target. That is used by workflow manager. Okay, so we'll see now. W here shows workflow manager. Click on this W, automatically it will get open. Right. Guys, are you following? Does anyone have any doubts? Please stop me if you have any doubts or questions. I know this is the first session and most of the information has been into your minds, but this client components will be dealing every day, so you'll get habituated to it. Don't worry. All right. So now this is my workspace area for workflow manager. So what I need to do, first of all, I need to create a session, right? As I told you, it is used to create a session. How to create a session? So go to task developer. So this is a task developer to create a session, and workflow designer to create a workflow. Okay, go to tasks, click on create, and give any name. What I'm going to give is s_m_ first mapping. Okay, session starts with S, M mapping starts with M. Okay, this is just a normal naming convention given by Informatica. And click on create. If you click on create, it will ask for which mapping you wanted to create this session. Okay, click on create, and as we have only one mapping in the mapping designer, by default it is taking that mapping. Okay, click on OK. Click on OK. See, this is a session now, right? This is a session now. If you open this particular session, double click this session, and we can see what is the mapping configure in it. And if you go to mapping, it will show us what is the source you have in this mapping and what is the target you have in this mapping. See here, EMP is the source, EMP_target is the mapping, right? They are displaying here. Now we need to give the information where this source is present. How we are going to give the information? We are going to give the information using this relational connection, DB connection. So what is the DB that I'm using here? Oracle DB, right? So for this Oracle DB, I have a connection called as CRP_R4. So that connection I'll be giving here. Right? Click on OK. And also target table also I have created in the same database. So I will also give the connection for this target table also. So this is a kind of location I'm providing to Informatica. In this location, my table is present, get the data. And this location, my table is present, load the data, something like that. Okay. And one option which is very, very important to change whenever we are configuring the session, target load type, change bulk to normal. By default, it will give bulk. We need to change to normal. Why? We'll discuss in later sessions. It's too early now to discuss. So that's it. Click on apply, click on OK. Our session is ready. Done. And again, Once you create anything, click on save. Okay, my session is ready. After session, what I need to do? I already configured by giving the source and target connections. Now create a workflow to trigger the job. How to create a workflow? Go to workflow designer, go to workflow designer, go to workflows and click on create. Simple. It will also ask for the name. Okay, give any name. It will workflow name starts with WF underscore S underscore M underscore first mapping. Okay, and it will by default take one integration service, but my project is using this integration service, so I will change. So when you are doing a practical, I don't think so you need to change this one, right? This is my integration service. So this start is there, right? This is used to trigger the job. So to trigger the job, I need to give the session information or not here. Which session I need to trigger? I need to give the information, right? You see in the left side, all the sessions are present in the under sessions tab. All the workflows are present in the workflows tab. Okay, so drag and drop this session in the workflow manager, and we have a option called link tasks. Click on this link tasks and link the workflow to a session. This is how we will create a workflow. Simple. Go to repository and save. Okay, so these things we'll be doing every day for new mappings and new sessions. So don't worry if you are ingesting lots of information. If you think that you're ingesting lots of information, don't worry. All right, I have a session, I have a workflow. Now what next? I need to trigger it, right? I will trigger it. Before that, we will see what is workflow monitor. It is used to monitor the triggered job. It is used to monitor the triggered job, and we can see source statistics and target statistics. Okay, from source, how many records it got fetched and how many records are loaded into the target. So it not need be all the records from source should load into target. Why? Because I mean, we may apply some business rules, we may filter some data like that, right? It doesn't match the count, but in this case we have not applied any business rules. It is just a straight mapping from source to target, no transformations in between, no logics, no business rules, nothing, right? So all the data should load into the target table, right? So how to trigger, how to open the monitor? This is M is a workflow. M is a workflow monitor symbol here. So first click on that, okay, and open the workflow monitor before triggering the job and keep it ready. Okay, right click, connect. Before we monitor, right, keep everything ready so that once we trigger, immediately we can monitor here step by step. Okay, it will be a bit slow, it's fine. Okay, it has been opened. Now you can see okay, now we'll trigger the job, right? Go to workflows and start workflow. You have an option called start workflow, so that it will trigger the job. Click on start workflow and go to monitor. The job should trigger here. See here, June 2022 folder, first mapping, it is running here and it is succeeded also. Okay, as this is very low records, the data got succeeded within 4 seconds. If you wanted to see the data, how many records it got fetched and how many records it got loaded, so we can see here, right click, run properties, right click, run properties, and you can see here source and target statistics. It is showing 15 records got fetched from EMP source, and all the 15 records got loaded into EMP target. Earlier, when we checked in the target, there are no data for this EMP underscore TGT, right? Now, once we created a mapping and we triggered the workflow, all the source data got loaded into EMP TGT. So data we cannot check in Informatica level, we can check in the database level. Okay. Now, after loading the data, check the data in the database. It should show now. Can you see here? All the 15 records got loaded in the target. EMP number, same column names, same data exactly as we have given links from in the mapping, right? So exactly same data has been loaded. See here in the EMP also we have same data. If you check all the 15 records in the EMP, same data. Like that, like this, right? Like this, whatever may be the table in the whatever may be the source system, we can point out that particular table in the source system in the session level as we given the information here, right? So this particular relational information, we can point the table by creating this connection information, okay, and we can point gives and pull the data from that source, and we can load the table in our database which we have created, and we can store the data, okay, from any system to any system. This is all about Informatica loading the data from source to target. Any doubts, guys? Any doubts? This is just a simple first mapping to dump from source to target. So we will be doing lots of transformations to the data using our transformations and business logics, SAD1, SAD2, lots of things we have. So we will be dealing with in our training. So if you wanted to see what all I will be covering as part of training, right? So let me show the syllabus. Syllabus, what is it? I don't know if this is, no, this is not the course syllabus, I think. Sorry, this is not. So meanwhile, guys, do you have any doubts? Have you understood? Have you followed? Everyone is on mute.
We understood it, but I think we are not sure about it until or unless we practice one thing, one example.
Exactly.
So if you can, give a small toy example, we will practice it.
Yeah, I'll be providing all the software and I'll be installing everything on your laptop, like the Informatica, Oracle, and how you wanted to connect, how you wanted to check the data, how you will load the data, everything, each and every session, whatever I'm doing in all of this course, right? You'll be doing it on your laptop. Don't worry about that one, and I'll be clearing all your doubts during the practical sessions. And the first 10 minutes will be clearing your doubts whenever you're doing the practicals.
Sure.
Right?